Public Works Committee to order at 6:15 this evening. Starting a little early. Welcome back.
Thank you.
So happy to be back. Had a great summer. Hope you did as well. Hope everybody had a nice summer. Great.
Still going.
Yeah. Yes, it is still going, isn't it? This evening I have several motions to pass through the committee this evening, but the first that I'd like to discuss with you is through Public Works Department, which they've been doing an incredible amount of work, as you've noticed, all over the city. Lance, if you wouldn't mind coming up to the podium, thank you very much. Lance Hill, our Superintendent of Public Works, I've invited him to our meeting this evening because in my committee, there is a request to transfer $10,900 from the citywide reserve fund for transfer to provide inspection and reporting services at Farmers Pond, as well as Simmons Pond Dam and Mechanics Dam. So I asked Lance to come. We had received a lot of information in our packets back in August. So I asked him to just supply us with a little bit more information about how this all came about, because it is a top priority in the capital improvement plan, the current capital improvement plan. But my understanding is that a 1-inch diameter, there was seepage, and it was recommended that inspections be done more frequently.
Yeah, so the Public Works Department is responsible for 3 structures in 3 dam-related structures in the city. Simmons Pond is one of them. It's around the Blackington Inn, that little pond that's there.
With the slide.
It's nice there. We're responsible for the outlet structure there.
Okay.
Formerly was reviewed by the Department of DCR, actually, with the state, who oversees all of the dams. That Simmons Pond, they've actually taken off of their registry of dams, but it's still one that we take care of. The other 2, one is Mechanics Dam, located over off by Willett, somewhere real close to Willett. That dam's kind of interesting because the city owns a portion of it, and it's privately owned a portion of it, that structure that's there. And the third structure that we own and operate and maintain is Farmers Pond. Farmers Pond Dam is up by I-95, kind of bounded by North and West streets. Both the Mechanics and the Farmers Pond have been in poor condition for a while. They've been on the capital improvements plan for quite a while for the city to repair. But back in December of 2016, this last December, we received an order from DCR to step up our inspections on it because of the deteriorating conditions of the dam. In one of those inspections, our consultant had noticed that the condition had further deteriorated, and it's actually getting worse. So what they have asked, or what they are recommending that we do at this point is, our consultant has recommended, instead of doing a quarterly inspection, to do a monthly inspection on these on this particular structure. So in the past, we spent about $9,500, roughly, if my memory serves correct, on these inspections. This year, because of the monthly inspections, that's going to $19,800. So the difference between the 2 is roughly that $10,900 that we're seeking over last year. So we have been monitoring this for quite a while. We actually just applied for a grant from the Office of Dam Safety, and we're hopeful, fingers crossed, that we're going to be successful with that grant. That went in sometime over the summer, and we're seeking funds of about $150,000 for the design, with matching funds from the city of about $40,000 to take care of the design on that dam to bring that back into compliance.
Okay.
So I just wanted to make you aware of that. That will come at a cost to the city at some point. But we have been aware of this particular issue for a little bit of time, and we're trying to address it now.
Great. So for the public, if we were not to repair the dams, what would happen?
So Farmers Pond Dam, it serves a lot of different purposes for us. Primarily, it serves as flood storage for the city. The upstream waters that go into the pond, we have the ability to control the levels of that pond in order to help with some of the flood storage capacity to help prevent some of the downtown flooding. It's not always possible if we're at the top of the level there and we get a ton of rain. there's not a lot we can do at that point. However, if it's down low, we have the ability to release some water beforehand and try to capture some of that larger stormwater as it's coming down. So primarily it is a stormwater reservoir for us. And it has a number of other features to it as well. There's some recreation components to it, fishing, things like that.
Great. Does anyone have any questions?
No.
No? Thank you very much, Mr. Hill. And while I have you standing here, I just want to give you some great accolades. I have to say, especially for my ward, Ward 4, where Ms. Parika lives, it's looking great. Emery Street looks beautiful. I love the new paving, the sidewalks. The signage looks great. Maple Street and the sidewalks, you just finished up on those last week, I believe. And you are going to be starting Pleasant Street from about Lindsay Street to the post office, correct? And that will be starting tomorrow night?
Starting Thursday night, yes.
Thursday night and Friday night, you'll be doing the milling. And then Monday of the following week and Tuesday, you'll be doing the paving. But it's only going to be done, all that work's going to be done at night, correct?
It will, yes. Yeah, we're looking to try to utilize both the weekend and nights to minimize the impacts on the traffic and more specifically the emergency response vehicles that go through there as well. When you get a lot of that traffic on those roads, it impacts the emergency response vehicles, so.
Yeah, and it's so nice right now to drive up Park Street because you've done some work along here near City Hall on the way to the hospital. But now as they're starting the work at Angel Park, that's starting to look, it looks great,
So
especially for my ward.
In
4.
addition to the paving on Pleasant Street, we are going to be paving this portion of Park Street. So we did that work that you were talking about. We did that in advance of the paving work that we're going to be doing. Essentially from Union Street down to O'Neill Boulevard, right in front of the hospital.
Okay.
That will also be done along with this round of paving here. Again, that was Thursday night and Friday night to do the cutting of the road or the milling, and then the Sunday and Monday nights to do the first layer of asphalt on them.
Great. Well, you're doing a great job. I see them out there working all the time.
My men and women work very hard.
Yes,
I
they
assure you
do.
that.
And I have one other motion that's before me, Lance. It's a transfer of the $24,935.50 for recent water breaks and other patchwork. So
that's a running list.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't have any control over the water breaks. We're kind of at their mercy when they choose to come. Unfortunately, since I've sent that memo, there's been several more.
Ugh.
So they continue to pile up on us. So we're going to continue to beg for your mercy and ask for your assistance in helping us take care of these.
yes, please, Mr. Blair.
On those particular patch jobs, do you have an outside contractor come and do those?
Yes and no. We try to handle a lot of those in-house, and we do some of the work in-house. Some of the larger ones, yes, we would hire somebody to take care of those.
Large ones on the...
Yeah, there's a bunch on this
Yeah,
list.
that's what I thought there were.
Great. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for coming and attending. Does anybody else have any questions, concerns?
Actually, if I may.
Please.
Thank you. As you've given updates on the paving, could you possibly maybe fill those of us on the Pleasant Street area about the gas lines that are going in?
So the gas company is actually doing a lot of their work on Pleasant Street, not only on Pleasant Street, but some of the side streets off of Pleasant Street. They're doing that in advance of some work that we're trying to do. So instead of us doing the work first and then them coming back in and ripping up our new streets,
Thank you.
we have asked them to get in and do whatever work they need to do on these streets beforehand. So unfortunately, the project that they needed to do was a pretty large one. So it was a large driver of a lot of the work that you're seeing out there. It had a lot of impact on Pleasant Street, tying into all of the new services to all the businesses, and then a lot of the side streets off of there. So our plan is in the spring, funding, as long as we have enough funding there, to come back in and repave those portions of road as well. So we're looking to pave Pleasant Street from about Starkey down to where we left off the paving downtown. And then some of the side streets there to do fix up some of the sidewalks that are in disrepair and fix the asphalt associated with those. So,
As one of those offshoot streets, I'm pleased. So, and truthfully, I know that you get a lot of phone calls about noise and different things like that. where I live, it hasn't been particularly disruptive, so I'm grateful for that. I know that on the opposite side, like on the Kendall side, and Angel in there, it's been a little bit more challenging. But I believe, they've been pretty respectful, so.
So on the side streets off of Pleasant Street, we do allow those folks to do that work during the day. At night, on Pleasant Street, we tried the during the day approach, and it was a mess. It was a nightmare for all the people. We received a lot of complaints, so we did switch that work to nights, understanding that it does impact some folks who live near there, and we do, we're trying to minimize the impacts to all the folks in the city here by doing the work at night.
No complaints from my street, I can tell you that.
Phew.
Or from your ward, currently.
Phew. Council Blair?
Excuse me, thanks, Kate. Does the gas company kick in at all for the repaving?
Yes, when I said contingent upon funding, that's part of the contingency that we're looking to do. How much they're willing to pay and how much we've allowed them to do, we haven't finalized that yet, but yes, they will.
Working arrangements, sort of?
We're trying to get them to kick in a little bit more.
Okay.
Great. Any other questions, concerns?
Cool.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hill.
Thank you. Anything else?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Have a good evening. Thank you. Hello, Councilor Cooper.
Sorry about that.
No worries, no worries, no worries. Just so you know, I had Lance come in just to discuss the dams, to let us know what's going on with them. Yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm going to read off my motions this evening. I have quite a few. Firstly,
Because I don't vote on these anyway.
thank you very much. I entertain a motion to approve the mayor's request to transfer $479 from account 6000-530-101 Wastewater Enterprise Fund Professional Services to account 6000-5782020 Wastewater Enterprise Fund Bills from previous years to pay a fiscal year 17 claim to reimburse a resident for a cracked pipe due to a sewer backup.
Second.
Thank you. This motion speaks to itself. Someone had a cracked pipe, and we are responsible for paying to have it repaired. Any comments, concerns? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Good evening, Councilor Conti. It's nice to see you. Secondly, I entertain a motion to approve the mayor's request to declare the following water department items as and available for disposition. Quantity 120. Description of water meters. Condition is used. Have a second? Any comments? We always dispose of them as soon as they're unusable. Thirdly, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. I entertain a motion to approve the mayor's request to transfer $10,900 from account 1124100-578300 Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account 1420100-530101 Public Works Professional Services to provide inspection and reporting services at Farmers Pond Dam as well as Simmons Pond Dam and Mechanics Dam.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Hill, Superintendent of Public Works, was just with us this evening just to touch a little bit on this, and it has been one of the top priorities in the current capital improvement plan. They've noticed a little seepage going on down at the Farmers Pond Dam, and they are requesting that the inspections be done a little bit more frequently. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. I entertain a motion to approve the mayor's request to transfer $24,935.50 from account 1124100-578300 Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to the following accounts to pay for approximately 27 road trench repairs due to recent water breaks and other patchwork throughout the city. $4,221 to account 1420100-553010 Public Works Street Maintenance, $20,000, $20,714.50 to account 1420100-530101 Public Works Professional Services.
I will second.
Thank you. As Mr. Hill just touched upon that as well, there have been quite a few, and he's going to be sending down some more requests because we've had even more water main breaks since. Any comments, questions? All those in favor? Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, I entertain a motion to approve the request from National Grid to install two 35-foot Class 3 poles, down guys and anchors across from poles 7242 and 7250 at Mechanic Street. Public hearing was held and closed on August 15th, 2017. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comments? If you do recall, back in August, I know it's a while ago now for us, because we were all still in like relaxed vacation summer mode, but we did have a public hearing and no one did come, but I am expecting someone to come to this public hearing, so we're having one this evening, very close to the Mechanic Street, because it's on Dennis Street. So hopefully they can touch on it if anybody has any questions. Any comments, concerns? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. And I have one more, and it's on this one. I gotta. Yes. I entertain a motion to approve the mayor's request to transfer $120 from account 6100-51550 Water Enterprise Fund Special Licenses to account 6100-5788020 Water Enterprise Fund Bills from Previous Years to reimburse a Water Department employee for a CDL license from fiscal year 2017 per union contract.
Second.
Thank you. This motion had come down, and obviously it's contractual, and the person had gotten his license, CDL.
True.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. I have no further business. Oh, before I do adjourn, when Mr. Hill was here, we were talking briefly about how nice the roads are looking, because they've been really working hard out there this summer. But I was really happy because it's mostly in my ward. Looking so good. But it is. They're doing a great job, and they will be paving on Pleasant Street from approximately Lindsay Street to the post office approximately, because after the post office, that's actually owned by the state. But they're going to start the milling work on Thursday night, and they're only going to be doing that on evenings. So Thursday and Friday night, they're going to dig it all up and do the milling, and then the following Monday and Tuesday, they'll do the actual paving, but it's only going to be done at nighttime to avoid all the high traffic time. Okay? I'd like to call for an adjournment for Public Works.
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned now at, thank you very much, 6:33. Thank you. Okay.
Next Monday.
Yes, sir.
Quick.
Land use at 6:34.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. And we have with me my committee members, Councilor Jackson and Councilor Cooper. Thank you.
Yep.
I'm going to read from the docket of September 5th, 2017. I'm going to read the motion, and then I'm going to read the full information into record tonight also. I entertain a motion to approve the mayor's request to accept the enclosed permanent and temporary permanent easement deeds associated with the 10 Mile River Blueway River Walk Connector Project. The properties involve Cumberland Farms at 80 County Street, Advance Auto Parts at 50 County Street, Christopher Heights at 45 South Main Street, the Sun Chronicle parking lot at 41 South Main Street, the building at 21 South Main Street, owned by Xavier Limited Liability Corporation, and Hong Kong Treasures Restaurant at 28 County Street. Upon approval, the instruments will be recorded shortly thereafter.
Second.
Thank you. So I'm going to read this letter from Gary Ration so that everybody has some idea, and I apologize, a lot of this is going to repeat itself, but I have to read it into record. Dear Mayor Dumas, as you are aware, the Department of Planning and Development has been working diligently on the Blueway River Connector project, which will connect the recently completed Judith H. Robbins Park along Riverfront Drive with the Balfour River Walk along County Street by way of an at-grade boardwalk, that could have been a very large boardwalk, if it was at-grade, huh? Boardwalk along the 10 Mile River and a pedestrian bridge suspended above the river. This project is being funded wholly by a Ooh, here we go with the big numbers. $1,579,880. EEA Gateway Cities grant and $100,000 grant from the Community Development Block Grant Program. This pedestrian walkway traverses the rear yard of 6 abutting private properties along the 10-mile river, necessitating the need to acquire a number of temporary and permanent easements. The subject properties involve Cumberland Farms at 80 County Street, Advance Auto Parts at 50 County Street, Christopher Heights at 45 South Main, the Sun Chronicle parking lot at 41 South Main Street, the building at 29 South Main Street, owned by Xavier Limited Liability Corporation, and Hong Kong Treasures Restaurant at 28 County Street. We had an appraisal prepared for all of the easements for all of the properties, and I am pleased to inform you that we have successfully negotiated with 5 of the owners who have agreed to sign and convey the requested permanent and temporary easement instruments. Copies enclosed. We are still in the midst of working with one property owner, and I'm confident that we will achieve a resolution in the next couple of weeks. Accordingly, I respectfully request at this time that you please include in your next communication to the Honorable Municipal Council a request that they accept the enclosed permanent and temporary easements for the purpose of constructing the Blue Way River Connector. Should the council accept the easements, the instruments will be recorded shortly thereafter. Thank you for your attention to this matter. As always, should you have any questions, do not hesitate to call me. And there's 5 enclosures, a lot of information. I only had to read that, which is good. And that's signed and copied to Lauren Galvin, City Solicitor, and also Stephanie Davies. So I think the important parts in here is that there's a whole lot of money coming from outside of the city to help pay for this. And I think that's a good thing whenever we get money from outside agencies to come in and make Attleboro a more pleasant and beautiful city. I think that's usually always a good thing. So, are there any questions? Yes.
Just a comment that I added up the 5. It looks like about $66,000 roughly between the two, the temporary and the permanent easements. And I think it's important to just reinforce that this is, it's tax money, but it's grant money. So it's coming from a different place, but we're all paying for it. So I'm in full support, but I think that just in the spirit of transparency, it is $66,000 that we're paying from a grant we were awarded for Gateway City and CDBG. I have to say it slow. And I'm hopeful that they can negotiate with the 6th, which isn't included in here, obviously, because I haven't completed it. But this is good, and it will make that connection, and it'll bring that to life. That's nice. That'll be nice.
Very, very nice. It's just, yeah, things just keep moving along. That's a good thing. Okay, so I'm going to, let's see, is there any other questions? So I'd like to make a motion. I've made the motion. All in favor? Did I get a second?
Yep,
Yeah.
he did.
That was me.
Okay, and all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I knew we would get there eventually. I do have a couple other things I need to tidy up. So there was going to be a public hearing on the sign ordinance tonight, which you all have seen, not that you may not all know, but has to be republished. And so we're going to do that. And we're actually going to call for a public hearing, and President Cook is going to ask me to do that during the council. But I did want you to know that this meeting or public hearing is not going to happen today, and it is going to be rescheduled at some point in time in the future. Okay. The other thing that I did want to let everybody know, my committee in particular, because it's for our benefit first, is on September 12th. I will have some folks in here from Bristol County Wellness Center, and they will be briefing on what's called Seeds to Sales Tracking Program. And what it is a tracking program that every one of the marijuana dispensaries have to use in order to track every bit of product that they have. And I think it would be very good education for people to know, because I just want to make sure that people, really I'm going to emphasize the security of things, because I think that's what people are most concerned about at this point in time. So that'll be September 12th. And I'm hoping at that point in time, we can hopefully close the public hearing at that point in time.
Okay.
Okay?
Great.
I think that's it.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Nope.
Okay, so I'm going to make a motion to adjourn at, right on the dot, 6:40.
Second.
Second, thank you. And all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we'll adjourn at 6:40. Thank you so much.
We'll do this.
You got anything?
No, I'm good.
I think
I got the budget.
budget and appropriations.
Yeah. Order at 6:42. Our chairman had surgery today, unable to come, Shannon. We wish her well. And Jay Delicio, who is second chair, is on his way in, but he works at the registry. He's a manager, and sometimes it's pretty tough for him to get here early. So there's two motions this evening, both of them pretty simple or straightforward. The first motion from the docket of September 5th, 2017. I entertain a motion to approve the mayor's request to transfer $19,000 from account 11241-000-578300 Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account 11411-000-595010 Assessors Revaluation to pay for the work necessary to complete the fiscal year 2018 maintenance and interim adjustment of real property. Upon approval, the available balance in the reserve fund will be $320,175.43.
Second.
Second. In the backup on this, the Board of Assessors voted on July 31st to accept the technical and price proposal of Northeast Revaluation Group, LLC. We would like to contract their services as soon as possible in order for them to complete by the deadline of October 1st, 2017. This is a mandatory reval adjustment process that our assessor's office goes through on a yearly basis, right, Frank?
Right.
And so basically, the Board of Assessors is asking us to transfer that money to that account. Do you have any questions, Ms. Hall?
No.
Seeing you're the only one here?
No, I don't have any, sorry.
Okay. Frank?
No, I'm all set.
Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Second motion from the docket of September 5th, 2017. I entertain a motion to approve the mayor's request to pay an FY 2017 invoice to Murphy, Hess, Tomey, and Lahane, LLP, in the amount of $101.
Second.
Second. Let me see the backup on that. Said the staff inadvertently made a partial payment of a June 2017 invoice for legal service. The 101 disbursement from CDBG budget represents payment of the outstanding balance. So we evidently shortchanged them $101, and their accounting department was very good, they caught it.
Right.
So we owe them $101. All set, Ms. Hall?
All set.
All set.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye, motion passes. We are adjourned ask for an adjournment at 6:45.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned at 6:47.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for giving that backup information. Call the municipal council meeting of Tuesday, September 5th, 2017 to order. I'd ask that you please stand and join in a salute to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Just a reminder, if you have a phone or similar electronic device, if you would please either turn it off or put it on airplane mode so it doesn't interfere with our broadcast to other parts of the city, that would be good. I want to welcome everybody back. I hope that you enjoyed your summer and your travels, and just a time to relax and refresh, hopefully. Have a number of minutes to approve. At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting of April 18th, 2017.
Second.
Thank you. The motion's in order. Any concerns or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting of July 18th, 2017.
Second.
Thank you. The motion's in order. Any concerns or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes. And lastly, I entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting of August 15th, 2017.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any concerns or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. I would, at this time, entertain a motion to approve the executive session minutes of September 6th, 2011.
Second.
Thank you. The motion in order. Any concerns or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. I entertain a motion to approve the executive session minutes of the meeting of September 27th, 2011.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is in order. Are there any concerns or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion, the motion passes. What did I say wrong?
You didn't say anything wrong.
All right, okay. All right, thank you. The motion passes. I entertain a motion to approve the executive session minutes of January 17th, 2012.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is in order. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. I entertain a motion to approve the executive session minutes of February 7th, 2012.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is in order. Any concerns or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. I entertain a motion to approve the executive session minutes of April 10th, 2012.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is in order. Any concerns or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. I entertain a motion to approve the executive session minutes of May 1st, 2012.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is in order. Are there any concerns or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. I entertain a motion to approve the executive session minutes of April 16th, 2013.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is in order. Any concerns or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. I entertain a motion to approve the executive session minutes of August 20th, 2013.
Second.
Thank you. And the motion is in order. Any concerns or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. I entertain a motion to approve the executive session minutes of December 17th, 2013.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is in order. Any concerns or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. I entertain a motion to approve the executive session minutes of November 17th, 2015.
Second.
Thank you. The motion's in order. Are there any concerns or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. And finally, I entertain a motion to approve the executive session minutes of December 22nd, 2015.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is in order. Any concerns or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Thank you very much. We have, as far as, we'll move on to the public hearings, and I did want to announce, especially if there's anyone here who was tuning in or was here planning to speak, that the joint public hearing with the planning board relative to a rezoning petition to amend the zoning ordinance by inserting section 17-16.0 signs is not being held this evening because there was a problem with the advertisement. So we do need to reschedule that. So Councilor Hall, since this is in the
in the zoning area. We need to call for a new public hearing. Would you like to call for a public hearing on Tuesday, October 3rd?
Yes, I would.
Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you. Any concerns or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Opposed? None. The motion passed. That hearing will be on October 3rd. It will also be advertised in the paper on September 19th and September 26th. Okay. And then we have one other public hearing for this evening. And Mr. Withers, if you'd read the notice for that, please.
I will. Public hearing relative to the petition from Massachusetts Electric Company / Ingrid to install a 35-foot Class 3 pole, strut guy, and anchor with an 8-foot lead across from pole 7293 Dennis Street. Pole and anchor will be located on town property on the west side of Dennis Street. Pole will be labeled pole 7293-84.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to speak in favor? If we could just have your name and address for the record, please.
Michael Frazier, 245 South Main Street, Hopedale, Mass.
Okay. And what information can you present to us?
Basically what
plan.
you just said, installing a pole on the west side of Dennis Street, 7293-84, and a anchor with an 8-foot lead to provide anchoring for stress on pole 7293, which is across the street from it.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any concerns or questions? Councilor Blair?
I understand that the pole you're putting in is to support a pole on the other side of the street?
Correct, yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other concerns or comments? Councilor,
Jackson.
I know.
That's okay. It's all right.
I'm trying to form the question. I was going to ask you if you had any questions, or if you, I'm trying to decide whether I'd ask you if you had any questions, or do you want to explain the process at this point?
Nope, we're all set
Okay, no
for this
questions.
evening.
Okay.
Thank you. And I-
All right, thank you. And then I will come back in a few moments to explain the rest of the process. Okay, thank you. Still getting out of the summer rut. I'm still in vacation mode. I just came back a day ago. So, okay, but thank you. Any additional information?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. In a moment, I'll have Councilor Jackson explain the process going forward. Okay, thank you. Thank you for coming in. Is there anyone else here to speak in favor of this proposal? Anyone to speak in favor? Is there anyone here to speak in opposition? Anyone to speak in opposition? Is there anyone here to speak neither for nor against? Anyone to speak neither for nor against? Okay, hearing none. Councilor Jackson, do you see any need to continue this hearing open?
I do not,
Okay,
Council President.
thank you. So I'm going to declare this public hearing closed, and at this point, if you could just explain to Mr. Frazier, Mr. Frazier, if you could come back just for a moment.
So
Just-
what will happen after this evening is next week, I will bring this out of committee. And once it comes out of committee, the following week, we'll vote it as a council of the whole, and then we wait for the mayor to approve it.
Okay.
So you'll get notified. So it'll be a good 2.5 weeks to 3, okay?
All right.
All right, thank you for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you. So that does conclude our public hearings for this evening, and we are going to go on to a reading of the mayor's communication.
September 5th, 2017. Dear municipal councilors, I respectfully submit a communication from Chief of Police Kyle P. Hegney regarding the eligibility of the Attleboro Police Department to receive approximately $12,000 from the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security, or EOPSS, Highway Safety Division, through the fiscal FFY 2018 Traffic Enforcement Grant. Approval from your honorable body is requested proactively, as this would allow access to funding at the earliest instance. No match is required by the city. In accordance with Chapter 1, Section 12 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro, I hereby request your honorable body to approve the expenditure of such funds by the Attleboro Police Department as specified within the parameters of the grant, and also approve any further grant amendments. Copies in your packets.
Public Works and Emergency Management Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Director of Veteran Services Ken Batcheter regarding the donation of $500 in Stop and Shop gift certificates from the Attleboro Elks Lodge, number 1014. In accordance with Section 1-12 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro, I hereby request your honorable body to accept these generous donations to the City of Attleboro. Copies in your packets.
City Property and Claims Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Director of Veteran Services, Ken Batcheter, regarding the donation of $100 in Attleboro Farmers Market gift certificates from the Board of Directors of the Attleboro Farmers Market. In accordance with Section 1-12 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro, I hereby request your honorable body to accept these generous donations to the City of Attleboro. Copies in your packets.
City Property and Claims Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Legal Secretary Allison Wood regarding books that the Attleboro Public Schools would like to declare surplus, and hereby respectfully request your honorable body to declare the following as surplus and available for disposition. Copies in your packets. And there are 245 Hill Roberts Library books in obsolete and/or poor condition.
City Property and Claims Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from City Treasurer Laura Gignac regarding the change to the treatment of bond premiums due to the new Municipal Modernization Act. Bond Council has recommended that your honorable body vote to supplement each prior order that authorizes the borrowing of money to permit the application of sale premium to pay project cost. A list of prior authorizations that potentially would be affected by the change in the law is included in Treasurer Gignac's memorandum. This would require a simple majority vote. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body vote to accept the following language that was provided by Bond Council. Ordered, that the city votes to supplement each prior order of this council that authorizes the borrowing of money to pay costs of capital projects, to provide that, in accordance with Chapter 44, Section 20 of the general laws, the premium received by the city upon the sale of any bonds or notes thereunder, less any premium applied to the payment of the cost of issuance of such bonds or notes, may be applied to pay project costs and the amount authorized to be borrowed for each such project shall be reduced by the amount of any such premium so applied. Copies in your packets.
Thank you. Budget and Appropriations Committee, please.
I respectfully request your honorable body to accept the donation of 3 pieces of office furniture from Sensata Technologies with a combined estimated value between $10,000 and $15,000. In accordance with Section 1-12 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro, I hereby request your honorable body to accept this generous donation. Copies in your packets.
City Property and Claims Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Director of Council on Aging Madeline McNeely regarding the need for funds for a temporary increase in an employee's hours to provide additional administrative support with several programs being provided to the seniors of Attleboro. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $4,058.36 from account Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account Council on Aging salary. Upon approval, the available balance in Reserve Fund for transfer will be $218,738.33. Copies in your packets.
Personnel and Human Services Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Director of Recreation Dennis Walsh regarding the need for funds to purchase a skid sprayer to assist with spraying for broadleaf weeds and crabgrass. Purchase of this sprayer would result in over 60% reduction in labor. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $4,201.66 from account Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account Recreation Supplies Equipment. Upon approval, the available balance in Reserve Fund for transfer will be $214,536.67. Copies in your packets.
Budget and Appropriations Committee, please.
Sincerely, Kevin J. Dumas, Mayor.
Thank you. And we have a few other communications.
We have 5 other communications. The first one is an application for a Class II license from Raymar Auto Sales, 923 Washington Street, for 33 display spaces and 7 customer spaces.
License Committee, please. And Vice President Denley, this matter requires a public hearing. Would you like to call for a public hearing on October the 3rd?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second?
Thank you. The motion's in order. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. That hearing will be on the 3rd. Thank you.
Okay. We also received a letter from Municipal Council Vice President Jeremy Denley informing the Mayor, Council President, City Clerk, and Elections Department that he is moving to New Hampshire and that his last day as a member of the Attleboro Municipal Council will be September 30th, 2017.
Copy to, hold on one second. let's see, I believe a copy went to all members at this point. Well said. I did want to mention to everybody that according to the procedure, when there is a vacancy in either the president or vice president, while the term is still going on, that the procedure is to have a vote for that vacancy, and the person will serve for the balance of the term. The vacancy has to be filled within 30 days of the date of the vacancy occurring. The vacancy will be occurring on September the 30th. So my thought at this point is that rather than delay this too long, that at the meeting on October 3rd, that we would take it up at that time, and the process per the charter is identical to what it is at the beginning of the term. In other words, it's a roll call vote led by the city clerk, who will then just call upon people and ask them to name, the person that they would like to have serve as vice president. So my plan is to take that up on the 3rd of October, which is roughly about a month from now, approximately. Okay. And I'd already explained this to Vice President Denley. I also wanted to thank the Vice President not only for his service. I was not here the night that you had announced this because I was acting mayor, as you know. But I also want to thank you for running the meeting on the 17th, and thank you for your service to the ward and to the city, and as the Vice President, sincerely.
Thank you, Frank.
You're welcome.
Okay, we also received an order for joint or identical poll locations from Verizon New England, Inc. The petition proposes to relocate one pole and place one new pole on Newport Avenue, and to relocate 4 poles and remove 2 poles on Angeline Street.
Public Works Committee, please. And
I'd like to call for a public hearing.
yes, that needs a public hearing. So would you like to call for a public hearing on the 3rd?
I would
of
like
October?
that very much so, October
Second.
3rd.
Thank you. The motion is in order. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion passes. Excuse me, Mr. Withers, did you miss item number 2?
No. Oh, did I?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
I
sorry.
was wondering if I had.
Must be old age sleeping in.
I know I had 2 different copies, so I just wasn't sure, so.
Thank you, and I apologize to everyone here. Number 2, a letter from John F. Kenyon, Director of BCWC, Inc., to the Attleboro City Council members, informing them that the Massachusetts Department of Public Health has approved their management and operations profile application, and that they have been invited to submit a siting profile with the DPW.
Zoning and Land Use Committee, please.
And the final one is a letter from Municipal Council President Frank Cook to the members of the Municipal Council calling for a special meeting of the Municipal Council on Tuesday, September 12, 2017 at 7 p.m.
Copy to all members.
And that is all.
And I believe that was on your desk when you came in tonight, so you should be all set.
And again, my apologies,
No
everybody.
problem. As I said, I know there were a couple of copies of versions of that going around, as often happens. At this time, I would entertain a motion to go into the committee of the whole.
Second.
Thank you. The motion's in order. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. We're now in the committee of the whole. If there's anyone who has business involving the city to bring to the attention of the council, now would be the appropriate time. Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to arise.
Second.
Thank you. The motion's in order. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. And we're now back. Next thing on our docket is committee reports. Tonight I'm going to go around to all of the committees. And let's see. I guess Mr. Blair, you're going to be handling the ones with the budget. And Mr. Conti, if you can just call for city property claims.
She has no business. She has no business.
And she has no business time, right. But just call for the committee meeting. So the committee reports will begin with Councilor Delicio.
Thank you, President Cook. There is no business tonight in front of the election ordinances, elections, legislative matters committee, but would like to call for a committee meeting next week at the appropriate time.
Thank you. Councilor Hall.
Yes, President Cook, I do have a motion from the docket of September 5th, 2017. I move to approve the mayor's request to accept the enclosed permanent and temporary permanent easement deeds associated with the 10-mile River Blueway Riverwalk Connector Project. The properties involve Cumberland Farms at 80 County Street, Advanced Auto Parts at 50 County Street, Christopher Heights at 45 South Main Street, the Sun Chronicle parking lot at 41 South Main Street, the building at 29 South Main Street, owned by Xavier Limited Liability Corporation, and Hong Kong Treasures Restaurant at 28 County Street. Upon approval, the instruments will be recorded shortly thereafter.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is in order. Are there any comments, please?
Yes, This was discussed in my committee. That just happened previously to this meeting. And the entire document from Mr. Arazian to Mayor Dumas was read in at that time. So I'm not going to read it in again.
Okay. Any other concerns or comments?
I don't have anything on this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any concerns or comments? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Delicio.
Mr. Delicio.
Yes.
Ms. Hull.
Yes.
Mr. Conti.
Yes.
Mrs. Parika.
Yes.
Vice President Denley.
Yes.
Mr. Cooper.
Yes.
Ms. Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. Blair.
Yes.
President Cook.
Yes.
9 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Anything else, Councilor?
I just have a couple of things. There's a number of things going on in the city this weekend, and I wanted to bring this to people's attention. I don't want to forget anybody, but these are the things I know about. We have the rooftop at the YMCA. That's going on Friday night. I think that starts at 6. Is that correct? There is a Attleboro Still Rocks, which is a great organization. They're bringing back all the old bands, high school bands from Attleboro. And I can tell you that somebody from our Department of Public Works plays the bass in one of these bands, so you don't want to miss that person. That'll be a surprise. But that starts at noon on Saturday. And then that evening, there's a POW MIA barbecue. That's
Hi, Councilor Conti. It was part of our dream to have it be something like this. This last week, we had over 15,000 people come through the market. We had a Touch a Truck event and a variety of different things. And we actually, Martha came to market and she was just bursting her buttons. She was so happy, and we're pretty proud. And if you want to vote, you go to AmericanFarmland.org and vote for us, or our website, AttleboroFarmersMarket.com, and vote for us. I think it's kind of cool that we're number one in the top 7 in the country, and we're going up against farmers markets that are open year round. So, thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate that.
exceptional. Another reason to love Attleboro. Okay, and that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I should also mention Saturday is also the kickoff, really, of the Big Read, which is happening at the Balfour Riverwalk at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. If it rains, it's in the next door building. At our meeting in August, you may remember, they came in and actually gave us all a copy of the book. So the real events start this particular weekend. And I know in conjunction with that, there's going to be a classical guitarist who has played around the world. And he'll be at the library at, I think it's 3 o'clock on Saturday. So if it rains, that event's being moved inside, and the concert will be inside anyway. So it's always good to hear things going on. We're going from the lazy, hazy, easy days of summer back to the craziness when school has just started, as we all know. Thank you. Councilor Conti.
Thank you, Mr. President. Reporting for the Capital Improvements and City Development Committee, we do have a public hearing scheduled. Am I correct for the capital improvements?
No, we do not.
That got lost in the process.
I think we voted out of committee. So
we need to schedule a public hearing on the capital improvements plan. And I would suggest October 3rd, only because we have a couple other public hearings.
Well, as I mentioned at the meeting on the 15th, you need to vote that out of committee.
Okay.
We talked about this last time.
Okay, good. We'll do that. We'll do that next
week.
Tuesday.
Right.
Next Tuesday, I also have our capital improvements project manager, Gail, coming to address the entire council, but my committee in particular. There's a municipal building commission meeting tomorrow night, which I will be attending. And I would like, for much as we've done with the Attleboro Redevelopment Authority, having them come in once a quarter, I would like the new capital improvements project coordinator to get into the habit of coming to the council perhaps every other month to a committee meeting instead of full council meeting, to address the council committee, capital improvements committee,
on what is going on in the city and how things are tracking. And I'm hoping that that's a policy that'll stick through the election term and the next council, because it's a substantial effort, and I think since we have a capital improvements projects coordinator, the council should utilize her. And I'm certain that this is a good idea, so I'm just going to start the process and see how it flows.
Okay.
In addition to that, I have two motions tonight, but they're going to be brought up as old business, and we would like to call for a meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Before I recognize Council Parika, so this guest will be coming to your meeting next week, and I know previously, Mr. Cooper, you have a guest coming in that was already set up, and I expect yours to be a lot shorter because it was an appointment. So my thought is for next week, the only ones that I know that are having guests will be those two committees. So when we get to the committees, we also have public hearings next week on a couple of matters. So we'll take the Personnel Committee first, and then we'll take the capital improvements. Because this is going to follow, I mean, obviously, we're going to be, in terms of scheduling, we do have 3 public hearings scheduled for next week at the moment, and that's the reason for that I called for the special meeting, was to deal with the public hearings, because the 19th is primary day for the state senate, so we cannot have public hearings on the day of a primary, as you know. So we're going to be doing it on the 12th. Now, again, we have a continuation of the medical marijuana, and I checked my email just before I came, and they were going to let me know by today if indeed they were not going to be coming next week. So I went back and checked all my emails and I haven't heard anything from them, so I expect they still come in, and we also have 2 traffic ones were brought in by Council Preker and Council Cooper. We'll probably do those first, because I think those will probably be a lot shorter. So we're going to open the meeting. We'll deal with those matters. My only concern with the guests is they might have been sitting here for a while. Unless we take and do, yours is going to be so short. You know, I'm almost thinking that it might be easier just for you to have your committee meeting first before we get into a lot of this.
Or we could.
Or start early.
Yeah, or if I may, I think this was really an opportunity to introduce Mr. Wiley to the community. I think most of us know him. He was doing the job on a part-time basis, so we could move him out to the following week, if that makes it any easier, and then get right into what we have. It's up to you, Mr. President.
Yeah. I mean, that may not be a bad idea, because again, if we're going to have the marijuana, we've never actually had the hearing on the marijuana, because they've kept asking for continuance. But if they're going to go this time, then I would expect that will be probably a lengthy process. So I'm not sure even, might be something you might also want to consider, Councilor Connie, about maybe, we moved it to we're going to have a regular meeting on the 19th or the 26th. That might be a lot easier, rather than have the person just sitting here, for a lengthy amount of time.
All of our projects will be completed by then, but that's fine. Yeah, I think.
Because that will still go with the
Otherwise,
update.
Gail's going to be here until 9:30, 10 o'clock, and that's not right.
Right.
That's not
Exactly.
right to ask us.
So maybe if the two of you could just get in contact and just have the person come on the 26th instead, and nobody else has guests coming, that might be the
I
better.
have guests coming
You have guests coming
on
for
the
you?
12th, yes, I do.
Okay.
But I plan to do that, to call for a committee meeting, just so you know, prior to. I think that's the way to handle it, because it's the same group that's going to be speaking at the council that night to close out that public hearing.
I'm a little uncomfortable with that, having them come in and speak and then stay for the public hearing. What are they going to be presenting?
They're presenting to my committee on the tracking system.
So it's just on the tracking system?
Yes. That's all. That's what they're going to present for the committee.
Okay. I mean, because next week is committee meeting nights for everybody anyways. So
We've asked,
so is that going to be following the public hearings? It probably would be best to do the public hearings first and get that. Councilor Connie.
Mr. President, may I suggest that we do the committee meetings before we do the regular meeting? Then we could actually take care of Mr. Wiley and Gail and
Yeah, my only concern is in terms of the other, if there are going to be, I thought it's our correspondence with people wanting to come in on the other two. So my concern would be if we, my gut feeling is that this presentation that Council Hall is talking about is probably going to be a fairly lengthy presentation. And if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's our correspondence dealing with at least one, if not the two matters, that there were people who were coming into that public hearing.
Yes.
So, my concern would be, my goal is always to try to get these meetings started on time, but it doesn't always work out due to various circumstances, many times beyond my control. But I don't want to, the thing about trying to have committee meetings before the regular meeting, I know sometimes we have to do that, but the problem is we don't always have everybody here, and there are matters that are being voted on. The public is used to things going on at 7, and it is a committee meeting night. The only reason that we're having the public hearings was because originally the marijuana group requested the 12th. They were unfamiliar with our schedule, even though I believe I told them, regular meetings are the 1st and 3rd, and we can't have a meeting on the 3rd due to the state calling for the primary for the Senate election. So, I'm inclined to think that we should stay with having the people come in on the 26th for your two committees, that, that we, I don't anticipate, unless there's something coming up at this point, a communication, or whatever, a committee of the whole. It was just going to be the public hearings, and then we were going to be, there might be other communication. Those seem to always happen, especially as we're getting late in the year here. But my original intent was to have the public hearings, and then if there was a communication, read it, and then break for the committees. And then the following week of the 19th, we'll vote for things. It's not going to be like the summer meetings, the Thursday night meeting in the summer. But again, I just want to make sure that with people that we know are coming in, and I expect it for the marijuana, it could very well be, as you had indicated, it might be 9:30 by the time we're getting to some of these.
I will reschedule the
Okay,
capital
I appreciate
project
it.
for the 26th.
Right,
I was going
okay.
to say, if you want me to reschedule them after that, after the 12th, we can reschedule them after, because we can still close the public hearing. It doesn't matter when we have the
Well,
presentation.
I'm not planning, as I said before, I'm not planning to close the public hearing until they have everything in to the state and everything has come back, because once we close the public hearing, we have to render a decision. And one of the critical components from some of the information I have gathered is that approval, and that approval has been taking as many as 5 or 6 months.
I think we need to have a conversation with Mr. Rajian. I had a conversation with him this week, and he has a different take on when a special permit can be granted, so we probably need to talk to him about that.
Well, according to the ordinance on a special permit, once we close the public hearing, we have a specified number of days before in which we have to act, which is part of the reason why, for example, in the sign ordinance, they took so long during the review, we had to do it all over again.
Yeah.
We went beyond it.
I think it's
And-
the requirements of the special permit. That's what it is, that
Right.
we may have already fulfilled the requirements of the special permit, so we just need to check on that.
But they have not fulfilled it, because one of the things that they have to require, that the special permit requires, is the approval from the Mass Department of Public Health.
Okay,
They cannot get that until, among other things, they get the letter now we voted, and I did sign the letter, and the letter was went, but they have not yet submitted that to the Department of Public Health, as per, the other communication that was read in the.
I'm meeting with Mr. Rajian this week, and
Okay.
he did talk to me about something that was different than what we're talking about here. So I will check with him again,
Okay.
and then I'll let you know, we can
Right.
tell you what he says, because he made a comment to me about this, and so I'll just speak with him again and make sure that my information that I got from him was correct.
Because I have not received that information from him, and my concern is if we close the public hearing and we know there's a piece missing, and it appears that we're not going to get it within the time frame, then we are going to have to vote to deny the special permit, because it will not have met all of the requirements. And my concern is, from a litigation point of view, could the applicant then turn around and say, well, you closed the public hearing, you didn't have it, there was a delay, and now you voted me down.
I'm not
And I'm trying
questioning.
to avoid that.
I'm not questioning this. I'm just saying that I had a discussion with Mr. Rajian that was different, so I need to go back and
Okay.
find out what the conflict is. He did say that there were certain criteria that we have to issue a special permit,
Right,
and it's not the same discussion, so I'll have
right. Okay. I just want everyone to know why they're
to.
asking
Yeah,
from
yeah,
that.
me too.
Okay, thank you. All right,
Thanks.
you're welcome. Council Parika.
Thank you very much, President Cook. I have no business to bring in front of the council this evening. However, I just wanted to let the public and my fellow councilors know that there is a Traffic Study Commission meeting on Monday, September 11th at 6 p.m. We also have the aforementioned 2 public hearings with regards to no parking on Eldridge from County to Dennis, and the potential for a time restriction on the opposite side, as well as the installation of stop signs on O'Donnell Drive at Patterson. I have also received feedback from some of the neighbors that they will be coming in. I have invited anyone and everyone to have their say. I also did make the recommendation that they streamline the process and have an individual speak, or 2 individuals speak for the group, so that hopefully that'll move things along in an appropriate manner for a very busy evening. Other than that, I have no further business and call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Vice President Denley.
Thank you, President Cook.
You're welcome.
Reporting for the Committee on Licenses, I have no business tonight. However, I'd like to call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Council Blaine, would you like to handle the budget one right now, please?
Thank you, Mr. President. Reporting from Budget and Appropriations from the docket of September 5th, 2017. I move to approve the mayor's request to transfer $19,000 from account 11241-000-578300, Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer, to account 11411-000-595010, Assessors Revaluation, to pay for the work necessary to complete fiscal year 2018 maintenance and interim adjustment of real property. Upon approval, the available balance in the reserve fund for transfer will be $320,175.43.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is in order. Are there any comments, please?
As I stated earlier, but for my fellow councilors that weren't here, this is something we do every year. And the Board of Assessors voted to accept the technical and price proposal of Northeast Revaluation Corporation, LLC, and we would like to contract their services as soon as possible in order for them to be complete by the deadline of October 1st, 2017. This is a yearly mandated update.
Thank you. Are there any concerns or comments? Vice President, excuse me.
You got promoted.
Wow.
Your hand was up and then it went down. So. Council Parika and then Council Connie.
That's extra funny tonight. Just
I saw the hand move, Vice President Denley, and I thought it was you, and then I saw it go down, so I... All right. Council
my
Parika.
apologies. I'm sorry. So when this came through back in August, I was curious, and I was asked this question, and I haven't had an opportunity to find out the answer for it. So perhaps maybe one of my fellow councilors might be able to. Apparently, this went out for bid, and is this the number that came back in? If it's a yearly thing, how come we don't have a budgeted amount for this? So
Well, it probably isn't budgeted, Heather. I'm not sure. I got
That's why I'm
handed
asking
this
the
this
question.
evening.
So I guess that's the thing. If it's a yearly
It's a
fee or cost,
It's a yearly mandated process. So I assume that and I'm assuming that the Board of Assessors
Transfer 19,000.
voted on to accept the technical and price proposal of Northeast Revaluation Group. Now, as far as I know, I would assume that it's probably a bid. This proposal went out. I assume it come back to the Board of Assessors, and they've recommended it, and they voted to approve it. We're approving the money, not the company.
sure. If I may redirect, thank you. I obviously, but it's coming out of the reserve fund for transfer.
Yeah.
From one to the reevaluation. So again, if it's something that occurs yearly, I see that Mr. Cooper has his budget book out. Do we have a specific line item for this where we put $10,000 a year towards it and then make a change? Or, I'm just looking.
I really don't know, Heather.
Okay, I didn't know if there was a fellow counselor that might be able to answer that.
I don't, I know that the assessment that we're doing, as I read over that, and again, I'm in the same boat, to pay for the work necessary to complete it. I think that this is additional monies that are needed to complete, the process. But the Councilor Conti is going to recognize in a moment, he may be able to shed some light on this process because of his work in a nearby community with this. So Councilor Conti.
Thank you. I can answer your question, but I'll answer it this way, is that Northeast Revaluation used to be called by a different name. They've been doing the real estate revaluation for the city of Attleboro for at least a dozen years. The Museum Modernization Act required that that just passed, required that any contract with the city over $10,000 must go out to bid. So the bid was sent out again and again. Northeast Revaluation Company came in as the low bidder. The contract floats up and down over the course of 3 years because the city goes through a revaluation audit with the state once every 3 years. And so the budget would be about $250,000 one year, $250,000 the next year, and then $350,000 the third year, the year of the revaluation, because there's more work to be done to meet the state's needs to get the process approved by the state. So that's the background on why there isn't enough money. What's troubling to me, we're now changing, I'm no longer answering your question, I'm now moving on to my issue, is that there was a budget. And the budget was put out in front of this council. And the budget went from a period of time without any changes, it got approved. So there was plenty of time for anyone to put into a budget what they wanted to put in. So, Mr. President, I'm making a motion to amend the motion. And I want to amend the motion by striking account number 1124100-578300 and inserting account number 1141100-530895 legal services. This keeps the assessing, that's my motion. I'd explain my
Okay,
motion.
is there a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. The motion is in order.
So the reason for my doing this is that it keeps the assessor's budget the same. We had a budget, the budget was approved, this keeps the assessor's budget the same rather than pumping $20,000 more into the assessor's budget. It gives Stanley what he needs to do with the $19,000 with Northeast Revaluation Company, just takes it out of his legal services budget and puts it into his revaluation, which will motivate the department to monitor in Northeast Revaluation's activities to keep it as low as possible, and will also, secondly, force them to monitor their legal services budget to make sure that they have enough money to do what they need to do there. So I'm not handicapping the Board of Assessors from doing their job. I'm just causing the transaction to come from within their own department, and that concludes my comments.
Thank you. I don't believe that we can change the account numbers once they come down. I'll stand corrected by Deb Gould on that, but my recollection is we cannot change account numbers. Our only way of indicating our disapproval is to vote it down, or we could, if you want to find out, we could have the second withdrawn, and we can do more research, which, given some of the other questions, might not be a bad idea. But to the best of my knowledge, we cannot change account numbers.
So if you have that technical issue, I suggest we lay that amendment on the table.
Okay.
Until we have an answer.
I need to have the second pulled back. So, but excuse me, Councilor.
May I comment?
Yes. Vice President Denham.
I actually agree with President Cook. Appropriation powers come from the administration.
Right.
If we don't support this, we vote no.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I'll be voting no.
Or withdraw the second.
Okay, thank
That's
you.
on the amendment.
Right. We'll withdraw the second.
So
So at this moment, the motion is as presented. It is in order, was seconded. I'm going to rule your amendment out of order because we cannot be changing account, we cannot be doing the appropriations. Right, I did the second because I want to hear the discussion behind it, okay? So I'm going to just pull back. So at this point, the choice before the council is either to have the second withdrawn and the motion withdrawn and it'll just remains in committee, where they could do further research, or we proceed with the vote and you vote, as always, you vote your conscience. So, Councilor Parika.
I think it would be smart of the council right now to withdraw the second, put it back into committee, and have the conversation. We have a special meeting next week. So if we have the appropriate answers that can be presented during the committee meeting, and then move it forward in front of the full council the same evening, we have that capability. But I think that some questions that were raised are good questions, and I would like to find out the answers to those.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Councilor Blair.
If I might enter an opinion, this evidently is time relevant, and I don't know what questions were brought up, because I didn't understand the questions about this,
Okay.
other than it wasn't in the budget, and you don't like the way the budget was presented. It's still money that's got to be spent, it's mandatory. And it's gone through the process of being sent out for bids. Evidently, Mr. Conti, right? You said so. And I know you're always right.
And I'm saying there's plenty of time.
I think on the letter, if I may, that there was a date,
October 1st.
but yeah, there was a date on that, which I think was
So
October 1st.
I have
Yeah.
in my notes. I wrote down
Right.
October 1st. So again, if it's a situation where we can ask, Mr. Conti's question has merit to it.
What is the
It's something
question?
that.
Hold on a second. Councilor Parika has the floor.
Thank you, President Cook. I think that it would be appropriate for us to ask that question, whether Councilor Conti goes and speaks with the mayor's office or with Stanley's office or with Deb Gould or whoever he needs to speak with to find out whether or not we could be able to change those. I kind of struggled with the reserve fund for transfer myself. And if there's the ability to make those changes so that it comes out of a different account, I don't have a problem with that. Again, next week we have a special committee meeting, so any business can be taken care of without any delay, and having it all taken care of before October 1st. So, because next week is the 12th, so the mayor signs it on Thursday, and we're off and rolling. So there's still plenty of time. And I think if there's an honest question on the floor, I think that it's important that we answer that question, especially where we have the availability of time next week. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Delicio.
Thank you. I think it's prudent to have the second withdrawn, because the concern that I see is if we don't, it fails. It would have to be reintroduced, especially to come back down. We're now adding additional time to the process. We have enough time at this point. I think we can get the answers from the city assessor, come back next week prepared, yea or nay, and move on.
Okay, thank you. Any other concerns or comments? Councilor Blair again.
At this particular time, President Cook, I took this tonight being third
Right, I understand
in
that.
line. Mr. Delicio is second chair in that committee.
Yes.
And if he understands what Mr. Conti's asking for, then I behoove you to come back with the answers next week.
Yeah, the reason, by the way, that Mr. Blair is reading the motions, even though Mr. Delicio is second chair, is that Mr. Blair ran the meeting, and Mr. Delicio and Mr. Blair had a discussion before that it would just, since he had run the meeting, he was going to present the motions tonight.
What do you know what's going to go on between now and then?
Mr. Denley, Vice President Denley.
So I believe I was the second on this.
You were the second.
I personally think there's some opportunity here. We had the budget situation. I think it's important that the budget gets honored, because that was how it was brought down and we didn't pass it, so we should honor what the administration wants and we should not be altering the budget. With that said, I do see virtue in taking a little extra time to figure out what's really best for the city of Attleboro. So as much as I'd love to be stubborn, I will withdraw my second on the motion.
Thank you. So the second has been withdrawn. Mr. Blair, do you want to withdraw the motion?
As long as it's taken care of by next
So do you want
Tuesday
to,
night.
so do you want to
Yes.
withdraw the motion?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we will be holding that item. You had one other item? From the budget committee for this
Yes,
evening?
second motion.
Linda?
Yes.
You have to vote to refer it back to committee because it's been voted out of committee.
Right, okay. I was going to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. I'm just going to just make a motion to refer back to committee. Right. Is there a second?
Second.
Actually, I can just do that on my own, but, well, second, and then all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So it's back before the budget committee. Okay, Mr. Valera, anything else?
Okay, go ahead. I have
Yeah.
your permission.
Yes, you may.
Secondly, this evening, from the docket of September 5th, 2017, I move to approve the mayor's request to pay an FY 2007 invoice to Murphy, Hess, Tomey, and Lehan LLP in the amount of $101.
Second.
Thank you. The motion's in order. Are there any comments, please?
No, it's just evidently we sent them a payment that was $101 short. Their accounting department caught it and would like the $101 to finish paying the statement.
Are there any other concerns or
I
comments?
hope that's all.
Thank you. Any other concerns or comments? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote, beginning with Council Blair, and this is a previous year, excuse me, this requires a 2/3 vote for passage. So, Mr. Withers, whenever you're ready.
Okay, Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
Vice President Denley?
Yes.
Mrs. Parika?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Delicio?
Yes.
President Cook?
Yes,
9 yeas, 0 nays.
the motion passes.
Have no other business this evening
Oh, I'm sorry.
for budget and appropriations, but I request a committee meeting next week at the appropriate time.
Thank you. Councilor Connie, would you like to call for a committee meeting on behalf of Councilor Reynolds?
Yes, on behalf of City Property and Claims, we have no business to bring before the council this evening, but we look forward to a meeting at the next appointment.
Thank you. Councilor Cooper.
Thank you. Reporting for Personnel and Human Services from the docket of September 5th, 2017. I move to approve the mayor's request to transfer $35 from account 151010000-524230 Health Vehicle Maintenance to account 151010000-578020 Health Bill Previous Years to pay for a state vehicle inspection completed on June 9th, 2017.
Thank you. The motion is in order. Are there any comments?
No, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Okay. Anybody else have any concerns or comments? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote. The vote will begin with Councilor Delicio, and as this is a previous year bill, this requires a 2/3 vote for passage.
Mr. Delicio?
Yes.
Ms. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Mrs. Parika?
Yes.
Vice President Denley?
Yes.
Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
President Cook?
Yes,
9 yeas, 0 nays.
motion passes.
Thank you. That concludes the business for Personnel and Human Services, but we call for a committee meeting next week at the appropriate time.
Thank you. Councilor Jackson.
Thank you, President
You're
Cook.
welcome.
From the docket of September 5th, 2017, I move to approve the mayor's request to transfer $479 from the wastewater enterprise fund professional services account to the wastewater enterprise fund bills from previous years to pay a fiscal year 17 claim to reimburse a resident for a cracked pipe due to a sewer backup.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is in order, but, excuse me, Linda, I do not seem to have a copy of these motions.
Yes, I gave it to you.
I have your signed copy, but I needed another copy.
Would you like mine, President Cook?
Do you have a copy also?
I have a copy, yeah.
Okay.
Of her motion?
Is it not updated?
I'm not sure if it's up to date, though, because they were changed.
There was a change to it.
Yeah, so you can give those back. Okay.
I'll get you.
Is- Okay. Is Linda
Yep.
printing one off?
Needs a copy.
He needs another one.
I didn't get my copy.
Frank didn't get a copy.
That's why we were waiting at the start of the meeting, because there were changes
Yeah, I think it's
in a couple of these motions.
a couple of things.
And- No, I never got a copy of it.
Oh, mine? Oh, okay.
Sounds like we should have like a song or something. Like advertisement. Yeah. Quickly going on, everybody can tell what they did during the summer vacation, just like school kids do.
Thank you, Linda. Again, welcome back. Thank you.
Okay, all right, so the motion, this is to transfer $479 and.
Second.
And it was seconded, and the motion is in order. So any comments, please?
Nope, this explains itself. A resident had a cracked pipe and had to pay for a plumber, and we're reimbursing that person.
Thank you. Any other concerns or comments? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote beginning with Councilor Blair, and this requires a 2/3 vote for passage.
Mr. Blair.
Yes.
Ms. Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. Cooper.
Yes.
Vice President Denley.
Yes.
Mrs. Parika.
Yes.
Mr. Conti.
Yes.
Ms. Hall.
Yes.
Mr. Delicio.
Yes.
President Cook.
Yes,
9 yeas, 0 nays.
the motion passes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
From the docket of September 5th, 2017, I move to approve the mayor's request to declare the following water department items as and available for disposition. 120 water meters in used condition.
Second.
Thank you, the motion is in order. Are there any comments,
That
please?
speaks for itself.
Okay,
you.
any other concerns or comments? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote beginning with Councilor Delicio.
Mr. Delicio.
Yes.
Ms. Hall.
Yes.
Mr. Conti.
Yes.
Mrs. Parika.
Yes.
Vice President Denley.
Yes.
Mr. Cooper.
Yes.
Ms. Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. Blair.
Yes.
President Cook.
Yes,
9 yeas, 0 nays.
the motion passes.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I move to, from the docket of September 5th, 2017, I move to approve the mayor's request to transfer $10,900 from the citywide reserve fund for transfer account to Public Works Professional Services account to provide inspection and reporting services at Farmers Pond Dam, as well as Simmons Pond Dam and Mechanics Dam.
Second.
Thank you, the motion is in order. Are there any questions, comments?
Superintendent Lance Hill was here before my committee early this evening. Just touch on this a bit. And they're finding that they need to do inspections a little bit more frequently. And when they were doing one recently at Farmers Pond Dam, they found a little bit of seepage coming through. And so he just updated us on that. And these dams have been in the capital improvements plan, the current capital improvements plan, as a top priority, a high priority. So he just came to speak a little bit about that.
Okay, any other concerns or comments? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote beginning with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair.
Yes.
Ms. Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. Cooper.
Yes.
Vice President Denley.
Yes.
Mrs. Parika.
Yes.
Mr. Conti.
Yes.
Ms. Hall.
Yes.
Mr. Delicio.
Yes.
President Cook.
Yes,
9 yeas, 0 nays.
the motion passes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
From the docket of September 5th, 2017, I move to approve the mayor's request to transfer $24,935.50 from the citywide reserve fund for transfer account to the following accounts to pay for approximately 27 road trench repairs due to recent water breaks and other patchwork throughout the city. $4,221 to the Public Works Street Maintenance account and $20,714.50 to the Public Works Professional Services.
Second.
Thank you, the motion's in order. Are there any comments?
Yes, while Mr. Hill was here this evening as well, he did say that there have been many water breaks, and actually, even as of today, he's going to have more requests to be sent down to us to do these repairs, well-needed repairs.
Okay. Thank you. Any other concerns or comments? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote beginning with Councilor Delicio.
Mr. Delicio.
Yes.
Ms. Hall.
Yes.
Mr. Conti.
Yes.
Mrs. Parika.
Yes.
Vice President Denley.
Yes.
Mr. Cooper.
Yes.
Ms. Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. Blair.
Yes.
President Cook.
Yes,
9 yeas, 0 nays.
the motion passes.
Thank you. From the
Okay.
docket of September 5th, 2017, I move to approve the mayor's request to transfer $120 from the Water Enterprise Fund Special Licenses account to the Water Enterprise Fund bills from previous years to reimburse a Water Department employee for a CDL license from fiscal year 2017 per union contract.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is in order. Are there any comments?
Yes, there are employees that we have down at the water department and throughout many departments that, per contract, they are to always have a CDL so that they're able to drive the trucks. So we are just reimbursing someone.
Okay, thank you. Any other concerns or comments? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Blair, and this, it requires a 2/3 vote because it is a payment for a previous year bill.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
Vice President Denley?
Yes.
Mrs. Parika?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Delicio?
Yes.
President Cook?
Yes,
9 yeas, 0 nays.
and that motion passes.
Thank you. Lastly, this evening, I move to approve the request from National Grid to install two 35-foot Class 3 poles, down guys and anchors, across from poles 7242 and 7250 Mechanic Street.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is in order. Are there any comments?
Thank you. Yes, Mr. President, we did have a public hearing on this back August 15th. There was no one here to speak in favor or opposed. That's it.
Okay. Thank you. Any other concerns or comments? Hearing none, this matter requires a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
Thank you, and I have no further business this evening for Public Works, but I would like to call for a committee meeting at the appropriate time next week.
Thank you. Councilor Blair.
Reporting for Public Safety and Emergency Management, I have no business this evening, but would request a committee meeting next week at the appropriate time.
Okay, thank you. There are two items of old business, and let's see. And they both involve, we did double votes. So I would recognize Councilor Conti.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome.
Reporting for capital improvement city development. From the docket of September 5th, 2017, I move to rescind the following vote for the municipal council meeting that was held on August 17th, 2017. Vote number 4. Voted on roll call, 7 yeas, 0 nays. Mr. Blaze, Ms. Jackson, President Cook, and Ms. Hall absent, to approve the mayor's request to transfer $37,931 from account 1124100-578-300 Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account 1124100-599-000 Citywide Other Financing Uses, and to further transfer $37,931 from account 1124100-599-000 Citywide Other Financing Uses to Fund 3547 COA boiler for the replacement of the gas boiler at the senior center.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is in order. Are there any comments?
Yes, Mr. President. When you're sitting on the city council, you get to vote on an issue in committee, and then when it comes out of committee, you get to vote on the issue when it comes in front of the council. In the summertime, when we meet just once a month, or 2 times in 1 week during 1 month, there's a great span of time in between the two. And while I may have felt that when I was reading this the second time on August 17th, I did not do the research to see if we had actually voted on it before, and so I made the same mistake that our administrative assistant made, and I put it in front of the council and we voted it the second time. I was more concerned on getting Madeline McNeely, the boiler, before wintertime came than we were on our correct procedures, and I apologize for that. I apologize to the council, and I know that this kept Ken up at night, and he was very sorry that this passed by him as well, but in the summertime, that happens. And that concludes my comments.
Yeah, thank you. Any other concerns or comments? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote beginning with Councilor Delicio. This requires a 2/3 vote for passage as is to rescind the previous vote.
Mr. Delicio?
Yes.
Ms. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Mrs. Parika?
Yes.
Vice President Denley?
Yes.
Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
President Cook?
Yes,
9 yeas, 0 nays.
the motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. President. So
Welcome.
the second part of this is from the same docket of September 5th, 2017. I move to rescind the following vote for the municipal council meeting that was held on August 17th, 2017. Vote number 3. Voted on roll call, 7 yeas, 0 nays. Mr. Blaze, Ms. Jackson, President Cook, and Ms. Hall absent, in accordance with Chapter 1, Section 12 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro to approve the mayor's request that the municipal council approve the expenditure of approximately $10,800 during fiscal year 2018 of the Community Development Block Grant funds for the Youth Center program and any future grant amendments.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is in order. Are there any additional comments?
Mr. President, my comments just mirror the comments I just made. The two votes were one right after another, and they've always been one right after another all the way through the whole process, starting in June. So I have no further excuses, but I do apologize.
You're human.
Thank you. Any other
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Any other concerns or comments? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote beginning with Councilor Blair, and again, this requires a two-thirds vote for passage.
Mr. Blair.
Yes.
Ms. Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. Cooper.
Yes.
Vice President Denley.
Yes.
Mrs. Parika.
Yes.
Mr. Conti.
Yes.
Ms. Hall.
Yes.
Mr. Delissio.
Yes.
President Cook.
Yes,
9 yeas, 0 nays.
the motion passes.
Thank you,
Okay,
Mr. President.
you're welcome. And there is no new business. So again, next week, as a reminder, we'll have the regular meeting for us with public hearings, and then we'll have the regular committee meetings. Anything we vote out of committee next week, with that possible one exception of the budget thing we talked about earlier, we'll just be dealing with it at a subsequent meeting. Just as a reminder, since we're now into September, October and November, we're going to be having 2 elections in each of those 2 months, so that we're going to end up with, we're probably going to have to call for a special meeting for any other public hearings that might be scheduled in those months. But also, as we're heading into, the final months of the term, at the committee level, you might want to start going through your dockets and trying to clean them up as much as possible. If there's things that are really old in there that haven't been looked at this point. I remember years ago suggesting that we follow the procedure of Congress, and anything that isn't actively in process automatically dies at the end of the term. But the council didn't want to go along with that, so we never made it part of it. So something to consider for the future. But I just wanted to mention, at this point, the only way we can do things is just to go through and try to clean up your committees as much as possible, by the time the term ends. So, other than that, thank you for getting back in the swing of things tonight, and I'll see you all next week. So I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. The motion's in order. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. We're adjourned at 8:14. Thank you very much. Have a